Hello, welcome back to another ranking video. This time I'm doing the MCU Phase 4, which I meant to do for an article, but figuring that my last ranking video was actually a lot of fun to film, and I think making an article out of a tier list might kind of just get convoluted, and this is probably just a lot easier. Maybe I'll just film this and then upload it to the to the site as an article. kind of a cop out, but yeah, that's probably what I'm gonna do. Alright, let's begin here. I want to make this a little shorter since my Gen 9 ranking video went like super fucking long, and I had no idea that it ended up being that long. It was an hour long. I thought I had spent like 20 minutes on it. It's also 2 in the morning, so I don't want to be doing this for an hour. So I'm gonna be a little quicker about this. There's also only like how many are there here? There's no like specific order to these. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 18 here. So that beats like the 100 Gen 9 Pokemon. So yeah, this will be a lot quicker. So this is MCU Phase 4, the post-Endgame phase, so it's obviously, a lot of people are like, why didn't they just stop at Endgame? Like, that would be the rational stopping point. That was the big climax, the big finale. So, a lot of people's interest has waned in the MCU. I have to say that, yeah, I'm a big fan of the MCU, but even I can start to feel kind of the fatigue start to creep in a little bit. With some of these projects. A lot of them are really good. There's some that are really, really good here. But yeah, I just want to say that they're moving into like the multiverse. So that's like this is the multiverse saga as opposed to the Infinity Saga, which ended with Endgame. So I really think that all of their projects that have the multiverse in them are like really well done. I think the more they like experiment with the idea, the better they get. Ant-Man Quantumania is like the first one of Phase 5. That's the next one coming up, I think in March, like next spring or something. But that promises to be actually no, I don't think that is a multiverse movie, so never mind then. It's got Kang in it, so either way it's going to be interesting, especially coming off of Ant-Man 2, which was kind of a pretty low point for the MCU. But that's neither here nor there, because none of those are Phase 4, so let's get started with Phase 4 with She-Hulk. I'm going to say She-Hulk was, I had really mixed feelings about She-Hulk. I talked about all of these on my, well, not all of them, but a lot of these, the ones that came out this year on my Twitter media thread, but mixed feelings for She-Hulk. Some episodes were really fun, some felt like very fillery. I will say that, like, it's kind of relied on the cameos a little hard, which I kind of feel bad saying, because, like, you know, MCU and fan brain rot, like, if it doesn't have cameos then it's automatically bad. Like, that's kind of a lame argument, and I'm not saying that, but like, it's pretty clear that like the episodes with cameos are a lot more fun than the episodes in She-Hulk that rely more on its own story. And the ending, it does like this, like, She-Hulk is like this fourth wall breaking character, and like this is the first time they're doing the fourth wall breaking stuff, and that's like, they really dived, I don't know, they really sprang into the whole thing with the finale here and like shatter the fourth wall. But the thing is, like, the conclusion was that, like, the ending sucks, so She-Hulk breaks the fourth wall and is like, what the hell, this ending sucks, I'm gonna rewrite it. But like, the thing is, like, yeah, you're like, it's meta humor and you're like pointing that out, I get that, but also like, that doesn't excuse the fact that you've like spent your whole runtime, you're like the whole show building up these plots that you then acknowledge suck and then like knock them down just to like make your own ending. I will say Daredevil is really fucking cool. I never actually watched the original Daredevil, but after seeing this, I kind of want to go back and watch it, and I'm excited for the new Daredevil show he's gonna get. I'm gonna say C, which feels a little harsh, especially being the first one thrown into the ring here, but I don't think it's it's not consistently good enough to be a B. I will say it's not terrible. It's not by any means terrible, but it's definitely not. It's got a lot of problems, like the episode where she like goes to like therapy retreat with like the weird D-lister heroes is really lame. The wedding episode is lame, and those are of course like entirely She-Hulk stories, and the other ones with like Wong and what's the guy's name, the magician guy. That was a good episode. That was fun. But in Abomination, I didn't like what they did with Abomination. They kind of turned him into a joke character, and the MCU's been leaning harder and harder into like the corny comedy of superhero movies. Sometimes the comedy works, so sometimes it really doesn't. I feel like Abomination was like a serious character that they took and they made into a joke, and they could have done some like cool shit with Abomination, but yeah, it was kind of lame. Moon Knight. I talked a lot about Moon Knight. I wrote an article about it in my media thread. Moon Knight should have been a movie. Like, the first episode of Moon Knight's amazing, but then it, like, drags with the rest of the series a little bit, and it never really reaches the same highs as the first episode. I saw somebody say that, like, the Disney Plus series that are the introductions for characters, like Moon Knight and Miss Marvel, really should have just been movies. And I totally agree with that, because that would have, like, suited it so much better. I feel like it gets really fucked up by them trying to, like, make it into a series. I still think it's a B, I'm gonna say. It's still consistently good, I'll say. It's really, the first episode's an absolute banger. The goldfish problem, I think, or situation problem, I think it was. The first episode was amazing. The rest kind of lags. And then the end is like a weird, like, kaiju fight between the gods. There's also, like, this really shitty scene where it's, like, establishes, like, a cast of, like, the Egyptian gods. They're having, like, a council, and then, like, the bad guy shows up, and then it, like, cuts to all the gods being, like, knocked out on the floor, like, had their asses handed to them by the bad guy. And that was, like, such a shitty scene, because we didn't get to see anything that they could do. I felt like that was a real cop-out. That was a bummer. So, it's not perfect. The first episode's great. Amazing. Absolutely watch that. After that, it's definitely downhill. And it's, like, it gets really, like, it doesn't, like, it flips between, like, oh, what's reality? We're, like, cutting in and out of stuff. Like, the mental asylum, and then, like, we're in, like, the Egyptian afterlife or something. It's all over the place. It's pretty messy, but I'm still putting it in B. I'd say I enjoyed it more than She-Hulk. Marginally, I'd say She-Hulk's still good. Moon Knight's a little better. Falcon and the Winter Soldier is a D or an F. Granted, it's been a while since I watched Falcon and the Winter Soldier, so yeah. Jeez, when was that? That was like, this was one of the first Disney Plus series they did, but I just remember it being very boring. The villain was boring. They did like the fucked up evil Captain America, like the guy who like inherited the shield, and he's like a shitty guy, but I don't know, I feel like they could have done more of that. The Dora Milaje was in it, so that was a cool cameo, I guess. And the suit up scene, the Captain American suit up scene for Sam Wilson was really cool. I really like the new Captain America suit that he gets. That's cool. I don't know if it's I'm not going to say it's an F, because I didn't hate it. I just thought it was pretty boring. Hawkeye, though, might be an F. It's also boring. Seeing Yelena was fun. I like Kate Bishop. She's fun. I really can't wait to see more of her in the MCU. I can't wait till she shows up in a movie. That's inevitably going to be a lot of fun, but the Hawkeye series was really lame. They set up Kingpin, like, Vince D'Onofrio's back, Kingpin's back, everybody, and then they had, like, the whole, like, Maya subplot, and then Kingpin was, like, the lamest villain ever. It was such a letdown in the finale. I just wasn't a big fan. Like I said, I didn't watch the original Daredevil, so I probably wasn't as offended as a lot of other people would be, seeing like Kingpin done so dirty by the writers, but I wasn't a big fan. WandaVision is a lot like Moon Knight, where it starts really, really strong. Like the first 3 episodes of WandaVision, it's like this experimental new thing. It's got like the going through the ages, the TV channels, shit, all that. That's really, really cool. I really like that. But on the second half, it kind of turns into like really formulaic MCU, like superhero stuff. It kind of goes down in quality. I'm gonna put it in B with Moon Knight. It's less messy than Moon Knight, so I'd say maybe, I don't usually do like the in order in the column thing, but I'd say they're on the same tier. Definitely, they're definitely on the same tier. I really like Wanda as a character. There's a lot of cool stuff that happens, but then it's like got like kind of like a cliched in villain who is like, she was in there the whole time and she was fucking stuff up behind the scenes. It was like, okay, she was just randomly in this village or this little town. It just kind of felt a little formulaic in the second half and lost kind of that experimental, like, fun new thing going on with the they were just really trying out something new and cool, and it was fun. What If is kind of hard to rank among the rest of them. A lot of people have a lot easier time doing it than I do, but it's an anthology series. It's the only animated series so far. It is what its name is. It's What If. So it goes through all these different experimental, like, what if this happened? What if XYZ instead of that happened? I will say the quality of the episodes is definitely very, very variable. Some are a lot better, some are a lot worse. I remember like the Party Thor episode was particularly really dog shit, like the Thor versus Captain Marvel. That's a really cool idea because they're both like super strong characters, but it was just a lame episode. Other episodes were really, really cool, and then it tied them all together in a weird way. It was fun to watch, in like an inconsequential way. I really like it was like, what was it, like Ultra, like God Mode Ultron was like the he like shattering the I forget what it was called, like the Super Ultron versus, and he like killed Thanos and like gained ultimate power and started shattering the like walls of the multiverse, and then the Watcher fought him. That was a really cool scene. I think that was probably my favorite episode. I think it was like the penultimate episode. Maybe a B. I feel like I said, I feel like it's kind of detached. It almost like isn't on the same. It's like weird seeing it on, because it's not a part of the same narrative as all the rest, is what I'm saying. Spider-Man Far From Home. I'm gonna put this in S tier. It's a very fan servicey movie because it's got the 3 Spider-Man, and I feel like it's definitely it's in like that phase where it's been long enough since it's been out that people are like, actually this movie was shit. It's like all the contrarians coming out of the woodwork being like, no, people only liked it because fan service, otherwise the writing sucks. And they make some points, like I definitely remember the first act of the movie was really slow. But like, come on, it's just so much cool Spider-Man shit. They reference all the old movies. They bring back Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, and the ending's really sick. I feel like this is probably one of the best endings of this whole list, definitely. It's got a really powerful ending and some kick-ass action and references and great cinematography too. Definitely an S tier. It definitely earns the S tier for me. It's not, I won't say it's not a 100% Rotten Tomatoes. It's not like a perfect film, but it's definitely an S tier for me. Loki is also an S tier. It also has its flaws. It also has its flaw. I remember the third episode of this was like kind of dragging out, and I remember specifically when it came out and I watched the third episode, I was enjoying it so much, and the third episode came out and I was like, ooh, that one was kind of kneecapped my hype a little bit. But then episode 4, 5, and 6, the rest of the series came out, and it was like, it got better, and then it got even better, and then it got so much better, and it just really, it rallied. Episode 1 and 2 were great, then 3 dropped off, and it rallied for the end of the series so hard. I also just love how like creative and like zany the music and the whole set design of, you can't even call it set design because it's all just CGI. It's a green screen, but that like the TVA, I think that's what it's called. It's been so long. This was like last year too, but their like headquarters is so sick to look at, and like the music and like the way they experiment with the multiverse and like throw Loki and all this weird shit, and then there's like the female Loki, and then Kang shows up, and Kang is a badass villain, and like the old Loki from the different timeline, and then there's it's a great show. It's definitely an S tier for me. I'm sure people could lobby a whole bunch of complaints that are valid criticisms, but for me it's definitely an S tier. This was a staple in my S rank for Marvel. I knew that one. This was never a question for me in S tier. Werewolf by Night, this is like the first of the two special presentations we have so far. It's also kind of like the Halloween special, I guess. It's also probably out of all of these the most disconnected from everything else. And I don't mean that in the what if sense. I mean like it's in the same universe, but like there's nothing except for like the opening scene. It shows like a very shoehorned in picture of like the Avengers, but then like after that, like everything else you just forget about that, and it's like completely its own thing. It's also like it's completely black and white, except for like some things, and they have like neat uses of like the color red, which is the only thing you see. It's got like very artistic choices, that creative decisions that come across really well. But it was kind of nothing special. It's kind of forgettable. I felt like the guy turns into a werewolf, obviously, Werewolf by Night, and I felt like it was kind of underwhelming. His like transformation and like the way he looks is kind of dopey, but they also had like ManThing, I think it was called, from the comics in this, and ManThing's great. ManThing looks amazing. I hope you get more ManThing. I hope he joins like the Avengers. That's a B tier for me. Thor Love and Thunder. This one is also... Well, I'm not going to say it's in the same camp as Spider-Man No Way Home, because I feel like a lot of the criticism against Spider-Man No Way Home is people trying to be contrarian. I feel like a lot of the criticism against Thor Love and Thunder is very validated, because it's definitely a rough movie. It's just trying so hard to be Thor Ragnarok. Taika Waititi's really just trying to catch that same lightning in a bottle that Thor Ragnarok had, and it's just not making it. But it's not as bad as people like shit on it for. But, like, it gets a lot of shit. People are saying it's like F or D tier. People are saying it's like the worst MCU's done in like years. People are saying it's worse than Dark World, which it's by no means anywhere close to what Dark World was, but I like seeing Natalie Portman back. She was fun, even if her character was a little weird. Like 10 years later, the villain was badass. Gore the God Butcher was such a great villain. I wish he got more screen time. The ending was a little lame, I will say, but it's not a terrible movie. I feel like I could put it in. It's a high C, low B. But I have to put it in B. I have to put it in B. I'm sorry. I'm looking at this more and more, and it's slowly drifting into C as I'm looking at this. But yeah, definitely like really, really low B, really high C. I'm gonna leave it there and just move on before I change my mind, because if I think about this any longer, it is going into C. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I know a lot of people are against this, but I really loved this one. I really, really loved it. I'm gonna put it in A though, because it's very flawed. There's a lot of things wrong with it, but I just love Sam Raimi had so much fun with this, and he made it a schlocky 90s horror flick, and he put all of his his techniques into it, you can absolutely tell it's like Evil Dead, and all his influence is palpable. And it's so creative. It's very different. Like I saw like everybody's like, although MCU movies are so similar, they have to do something different. And then they like release this, which is something innovative and new, and it's like a horror MCU movie, but it's still got like all the like zany shit with the multiverse, and it's so much fun. And then they're like, what is this? This is so different. You know, you can't win. But I really love this. There's some problems with like Wanda is like literally insanely busted in this movie. She's so OP, and it's just an onslaught. And I've seen like whole video essays are like she did this and it literally breaks the whole like magic system of the MCU just because how busted she is. And like, yeah, but it's also like sick as shit to see her blow somebody's like brain out of their eye sockets. Like, that's incredibly cool, even if it is like narratively unsound. Like kind of like fucks up some, like, the more you think about it, the worse it gets. But like, there's so many cool scenes in this movie, like the scene against the tentacle monster in the beginning, the music notation fight scene is amazing. I love this movie. If it were completely up to me, I'd put it an S, and you could say it is up to me, but I will admit it has flaws. It has a lot of flaws that keep it from an S, because a lot of people would not agree with me putting it this high. I Am Groot. This is very much in the same of What If, same camp as that, as in it's like an anthology series. This one isn't even like, it's even less. It's like 5-minute shorts of Groot being like a scrimblow bimbo like merchandising bait. I can't even rank this on here, dude. C, just because it's very nothing. It's cute. You can put it on for your kids to watch, I guess. The best part was like having Rocket Raccoon in there. It was fun. It was a cute episode, a cute little short. It made me laugh like once. Excuse me. Very nothing. It was cute, you know. It was just pushing more Baby Groot merchandise, you know. Miss Marvel, I'm sorry, this is gonna be mean, but I did not like Miss Marvel. I did not like it. It was, I didn't like the writing. It was like, it's the same thing with Marvel trying to like reach out and experiment with different genres. How they made like Doctor Strange a horror movie, which I really loved. This one's kind of like a poppy teen high school drama, almost like a teen movie. You know, like I don't want to say rom-com because there is a romance thing in there, but it's like not even enough of a thing to like make it a rom-com for me. There's so much of that like older generation trying to write younger people, like trying to write about like, oh, didn't you see on TikTok, send me emojis and like do the TikTok dance, and you can tell like it's written by like 45-year-olds and trying their hardest to like write a young person, and it's very cringy. I just didn't like the writing either. Like there's like a big conclusion, and then like an episode or two later there's another conclusion to like the other like plot line that like they forgot about in the middle of the series. So there's like it's like the pacing's bad, the writing's bad. There's like this big final episode scene where like they're in the high school like after hours, but then like all the side characters started popping up and they're like, wow, I'm in the high school too, I used to go here, you know, that's why I'm here, obviously. And it just felt so like out of nowhere and just like poorly written. I did not like Miss Marvel, I'm sorry. I like when it sets up though. The like X-Men theme cameo was super cool, and the post-credit scene teasing the Marvels is really cool. I'm really hyped for the Marvels, and I can't wait to see more of Kamala in like the MCU. I just feel like this could have been a movie. It would have been so much better, just like Moon Knight. But I feel like that it was a series that really hurt it. This is the latest one, Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. I'm going to put it in D. It was the other special presentation like Werewolf by Night. It was just Drax and Mantis goofing around for 45 minutes, and like the big thing was like Kevin Bacon makes a cameo, but like I don't care about Kevin Bacon. And to be honest, outside of the Guardians of the Galaxy ensemble, I don't care about Drax or Mantis either. They work inside of the Guardians of the Galaxy ensemble. They're like great members of the team. I love them in those movies, but like outside of that, I just don't give a shit. They're not really great as standalone characters. I don't like their chemistry a whole lot. There's this weird thing with like Mantis reveals to Peter that she's his sister, and they have a bonding moment over that. But like, to be fair, it's been a long time since I've seen the Guardians of the Galaxy movie. But like, I don't think like Peter and Mantis like had that much screen time together. So now they're like giving them a reason to have like a closer relationship, which is fine. Like I said, I don't see a whole lot of chemistry. I don't care for these characters outside the ensemble. They're like my two least favorites of the Guardians of the Galaxy cast. Moving on, Black Widow. A lot of people shit on Black Widow. Rightfully so. There's some of the worst CGI in Black Widow. Like the infamous like scene where she like, I forget what it even was. She like shoves her staff in like the jet engine or something, and it like blows up and gets sent flying. It's just such a bad looking scene. I didn't hate Black Widow though. A lot of people say it's like F tier worst, some of the worst Marvel stuff. It did feel kind of fillery. I don't like that the whole thing that like giving Black Widow a movie after she's already dead. That kind of feels counterproductive because it just sets up other characters. Yelena, she's okay. I like seeing her in Hawkeye. I hope to see more of her in the Thunderbolts. Same with Red Guardian. He'll be so cool to see because I think he was also confirmed for their Thunderbolts team. This might be controversial, but I'm going to give it a C. I don't think it was as bad as people say it was. It was definitely not great. It wasn't a great movie, but it's just very mid. I'd say it's very, very mid. It's like, there's terrible CGI, but I think the story was fine. It had some good acting. I liked the characters. I feel like the whole premise was a little redundant, but it was mid. Like if it was on, I would sit and watch it. I wouldn't like choose to put it on personally. Like it wouldn't be my pick to put on and watch, but like I wouldn't like turn the TV off or like walk away from it. I guess. Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. I like this movie. I was definitely a little bit skeptical on how they're going to handle it with the unfortunate, tragic passing of Chadwick Boseman, who was a great actor. Very sad. But they kept with the movie and they put it out, and there's a lot of good tribute. They made a great tribute pretty much to him. And as a movie too, it's good. It's one of those movies that like you can't really think of anything bad with it. A lot of people say it's too long. I say it's fine. There are some subplots people say could be cut out with like I forget the Everett Ross was his name, the like one white guy in the movie, like that didn't really need to be there. Some people said Ironheart didn't need to be there. I was fine with both of them. I like this movie. I don't really have any. I'm gonna put it in an A. Like I walked out of the movie theater, I'm like, there was nothing wrong with that movie. It wasn't a 10 out of 10, but it's a decent movie. It's a good watch. I didn't really have any elaborate thoughts on it. I could talk about it, like how like Shuri was kind of like going down a dark path, and then like there's like the whole like Superman v Batman Martha moment she shares with Namor. Namor was also really cool. I really liked Namor, but then I had like the Martha moment, which was a little weird because it like flipped the switch and she suddenly stopped having like dark thoughts and she's like, I'm a good guy, no bad thoughts, the day is saved, woohoo. But I feel like that's a nitpick, and it was a fine ending. It was a good ending. I liked it. The whole movie is good. ShangChi, also A tier. It's been a really long time since that came out, so a lot of my thoughts have escaped me right now, but it was good. A lot of really cool martial arts. I really like the character of ShangChi. The ending was cool. I like the backstory with like the father and that whole father versus ShangChi. That was cool. I really liked the final fight, even though it was a very like had a lot of the problems that people get MCU's asked for. Like, it was like very dark finale, climax scene. It was very CGI climax scene. But I really liked the 10 rings. I feel like the way they adapted the 10 rings is so cool. Like, it's such a cool weapon, and I can't wait to see more of this. I can't wait to see ShangChi be an Avenger and do some cool shit in, like, the Avenger movie. That is going to be so cool to see. I can't wait for that. Sorry. Last but not least, we have the Eternals. This is another movie, another one that's kind of a controversial one for... a hot take, I guess, a controversial take for me. I really liked Eternals. A lot of people say it's mid to trash in that range. It's not your typical MCU movie. It's definitely like formula breaking. A lot of people say it's really long. It's really boring. I really, really liked it. I almost want to put it in A. I was going to put it in B, but I might do A. Just 'cause I really like the characters. It's a really strong cast. They managed to balance like a very large cast. I think it was like 10 of them, right? And I liked all of them. It was an enjoyable movie, I'll say that. I feel like A would be a very inflammatory pick for this because a lot of people really hate Eternals. I think it's like Rotten Tomatoes' worst rated MCU movie, right? It's like got like a 47%. Like, people hate this movie. I thought it was great. A or B. Last one. All right, you know what? I'm gonna start some fires. I'm gonna say it's high B, low A. High B, low A. I'll say that. But yeah, that's Phase 4. I'm pretty happy with this list. I will say, Gen 9, my ranking video, I'm already looking back at it and having second thoughts. I might make a part 2 to that video, just because there's some stuff I would definitely change. And I also want to get the 4 post-game legends in there somewhere. But yeah, so I might do a part 2 video on that, but for this, I'm very happy with this. I actually put some forethought into this, so besides like Eternals being a rank up than I originally thought it would be, these are my thoughts and opinions. Maybe leave a comment if you have any. Call me an idiot for putting Eternals in A, I guess. But yeah. Sorry, that's it. Thanks for watching.